The Goblin and Sasquatch, read by Melanie O'Mara. Once, a poor woodcutter lived alone, except for his son and daughter and a pet Bigfoot Sasquatch. His son was handsome and his daughter was pretty, but both neglected their chores to style their hair and practice their smiles in 3 different mirrors, and nagged to go shopping for more mirrors. Sasquatch gathered all the firewood, tended the garden, and everything else. He had reddish-brown, furry hair all over, but never had any clothes to wear. He wasn't allowed inside because of his filthy, stinky smell, never had a bath, slept on a junky trash heap, and found nothing to eat but rotten pumpkin shells and old bones from the garbage pile. People praised the woodman's good-looking children till their fame spread to Goblin Land. The goblin ruler there wasn't sure whether it was a boy goblin or a girl goblin, and so it decided to marry the son and daughter both. The goblin had one tiny pink eye and a huge rusty-colored one, and a nose that dripped long strings of ooey gooey green snot mucus, and breath so stinky that whenever the goblin wheeze coughed, loud, fiery, rainbow-colored flames whooshed out like dragon breath. The goblin went to the forest and pounded on the woodcutter's door. "Hand over your son and daughter, both for me to marry," hollered the goblin, "or I'll whip and paddle you all 3 to Goblin Land, and my sorcerer will turn you into 3 dirty diapers that I'll flush down my swamp stool." "I'd like it better if you didn't," said the woodcutter through the door. "I wouldn't," responded the goblin. "Where are they?" The woodcutter didn't want to lie or fib, but he didn't want to admit that the lazy children were just admiring their faces in 3 mirrors. So he said, "Try hunting for them out back by the trash heap and garbage pile." The goblin leaped over the woodcutter and stomped out back to discover Sasquatch gnawing on a rotten turkey drumstick. "You stink," yelled the goblin. "You need a bath." "Do you have an extra one I can borrow?" asked the Sasquatch. "Maybe," said the goblin. "Where's that handsome girl and pretty boy for me to marry?" "I'll tell you right after my bath," said Sasquatch. They hurried back to Goblin Land, where Sasquatch shampooed the hair grime, soap-washed the mud and muck, perfume rinsed and blow-dried his hair so fluffy he didn't recognize himself. "You're attractive now," said the goblin, "but I'm still ugly and repulsive." Sasquatch had a think. Then he clipped down the palace ragweed garden, and the goblin's little pink eye and big rusty-colored eye turned into beautiful, perfect-sized green and hazel eyes. He chopped down the ragweed hedge, and the goblin's nose never again dripped even one long string of ooey-gooey green mucus. Sasquatch mowed down the ragweed lawn, and the goblin stopped wheeze-coughing loud, fiery flames. "Magic!" said the goblin. "Ragweed allergy," said Sasquatch. And the goblin felt so much better and so grateful that Sasquatch could do what even the sorcerer couldn't do, that it pretended to forget about the handsome girl and pretty boy. And from that day to this, the goblin and Sasquatch have lived happily ever after.